Hi, this is Landry Etheridge with Etheridge Counseling Group, and we have Dr. Etta Gant, therapist extraordinaire here in Charleston, South Carolina, talking about emotions, understanding our emotions, understanding the hidden message within our emotions. So glad to chat with you, Etta, about your recent blog posts.
Yeah, thanks. I love talking about emotions. It's half of what we do in therapy, so I'm happy to do it.
Yeah, I feel like emotions kind of get a bad rap sometimes. I often hear people say like, "Oh, I'm just so emotional. I wish I could just be rational," or
Mm,
if I could just turn off my emotions. They're so big, they're so overwhelming. What's your take on emotions? Are emotions bad? Do emotions get in the way of us living a good, like, happy life? What's your take on that?
Um, First question, no, definitely not bad. Second question, they actually exist to be like very purposeful in our lives and to help us actually get the most out of life. So, yeah, sometimes if we like ignore them, repress them, shut them down, don't listen to what they're telling us, or sometimes we do get consumed by them, then that could get in the way of living our lives. But in general, they serve a really strong purpose. They're telling us what we need to feel, what we need to do, how we're reacting to the world around us. We were made to have them. That's why you have them. They're a physiological response. So, no, they're totally normal, healthy, amazing.
Well, I think somebody would argue, and I'm on the same page, obviously, because I'm a therapist too. So I definitely agree that emotions are pretty crucial to living a good life.
Mhm.
But again, something I hear a lot of the time is, well, I wish I could feel happy all the time, or I don't understand why I can't be happy all the time. How do I stop feeling? I think probably one of the emotions that gets the worst, you know, street cred, the worst, um, viewpoint is anger. Probably, people
Mhm.
definitely see anger as a big issue. um Kind of, I guess, kind of lumping emotions into like the good emotions and the bad emotions, or the helpful emotions and the unhelpful
Mhm.
emotions.
Yeah.
What's your take on that idea?
Yeah. Well, I think that they're all helpful. Some feel
all
better.
all are helpful.
Yeah. I
Okay.
think some just feel better than others.
Mhm.
So yeah, happiness feels great. Anger can feel really uncomfortable or overwhelming, but anger is extremely important because it's telling us that, well, it can be telling us a lot of things. It could be telling us that we feel like we're being violated, that maybe someone has hurt us, that we are feeling blocked towards a goal. Um, that we need to protect ourselves, stand up for ourselves. Anger is a great motivator to make change in your life. Like when you're just like, oh, I just can't take this job anymore. I'm losing it. Feeling angry all the time about that. Maybe you need to have some conversations at work to change some things, or maybe you need a new job. Same with relationships. That can help you recognize like where and when to set boundaries with people. Of course, sometimes we can lose our like grip on anger and how to understand it. And that's where anger goes a little too far, and we end up hurting people. But usually that's a result of not recognizing what other emotions are under the anger. Maybe there's sadness, hurt, shame, rejection, isolation. Um, but anger has like is presenting on top of those. And in that case, we have got to feel a lot of different emotions before we can decide what the anger is telling us.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is there are no bad emotions. All emotions are good. All emotions serve a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Can basically figure out what that purpose is.
Mm-hmm.
And some emotions you can kind of get carried away with them. Like anger could get carried away with it. So it could become unhelpful.
Sure. You could end up hurting someone. Sadness, you can drown in that a little bit, or even drown others. Like sometimes, yeah, they can consume us if we're not like fully understanding it, feeling it, processing it. Another reason why therapy is so great is to do all those things.
Mm, mhm. Yeah, and help you feel all of them. And as you're talking, I'm really thinking about even joy or happiness can also carry you can carry that too far. where you're totally disconnected from all of your other emotions. So
Of course, yeah.
basically, all emotions are good. All emotions have a purpose. All emotions have a risk of harming you if carried too far or responded to in an unhelpful way. Um, so I know your recent blog, 4-part blog series on emotions, you named this series "Don't Blame the Messenger." Can you talk about that? Why you named that title and what that means?
Of course, yeah. So like we were saying that our emotions are telling us something. They're telling us how we feel about a situation, but also it's telling us like how to respond, what to do about it. They're innate to us. Emotions are physiological. We're designed to have them. So we don't need to blame the emotion. Like I just don't want to be angry anymore. I just don't want to be sad anymore. I hate sadness. I hate feeling this way. That just prolongs it. The more we're like avoiding it or resisting it versus feeling it and then deciding kind of what it's telling us. We don't need to blame it. We just need to accept it and embrace it.
So let's talk about like a specific, I know we've talked about anger. I'm curious your take on loneliness. Loneliness, I think a lot of people would say, well, loneliness is not a good emotion to feel. Like, what is the hidden message within loneliness?
And so I want to be clear. Sometimes there's multiple messages to an emotion, but in general, loneliness is telling you that you value connection. Like that's something you need. It might be calling at you to like seek connection, to reach out to a friend. It could be telling you that you're really uncomfortable. You feel a lot of discomfort being alone, and so maybe spending some time exploring why that's so uncomfortable. It also can be conflated with shame and isolation if being lonely feels like there's something wrong with you. And in that case, now we've got a few different emotions that are maybe working against each other instead of together.
So I'm seeing how important it would be to speak with a therapist about this, to kind of help parse out these different layers of emotion and what each one. And I think loneliness is a really curious one because loneliness, a lot of our emotions are pretty crucial to feel. Like if we didn't feel fear, then we wouldn't know we were in danger and we wouldn't know to seek safety. And you're saying this about loneliness too. Loneliness is good in that it lets us know, hey, I need to reconnect with people, or hey, my value is community. What can I do to facilitate community for myself and for others? And for the greater world. So it kind of is, these emotions are kind of informing us of our values, helping us get back on track with our lives.
Yeah. Loneliness, fear, anger, disgust, those all have like very clear messages. Like, this isn't working for me. I need to change something. Right.
I love it. Okay. So everyone out there, if you want to learn more about your emotions and become more emotionally intelligent, definitely recommend checking out Edda's 4-part blog series, particularly this second one, part 2. She's got it all spelled out for you. She's got this long list of emotions, a lot of like the heavy hitters, a lot of the primary emotions that we would feel. The next column is what is the message of that emotion, then moving into a productive response to that emotion, and then an unproductive response to that emotion, which is a pretty amazing. You might even want to kind of screenshot that and stick it in your back pocket for easy reference. I'm seeing that as a really helpful tool. Well, thank you so much, Edda, for talking us through that. Can't wait to learn more.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Okay, I'll just keep it running. That was so good. Okay. Now part 3. Anger. Okay, so I haven't read through this whole thing, so I'm going to let you mostly just do that.
Okay. Let me, anger. Okay. As a
anger for healing and protection.
For healing, protection. That's how we want to channel it. And where it's like going south is that when it's repressed, then we've got anxiety, depression on top of that, or people pleasing, or when it's kind of out of control and it's too like escalated for us to see clearly or channel it, like rage or like irritability. Like those are telling us like we need to